How's it going, guys? How are you doing? And welcome to a brand new tutorial from Udemy. So today we're gonna just discover the best or the top 10 Visual Studio Code extensions for a web developer. So if you are a web developer, either a newbie or an advanced developer, and you're looking like for a new extension to choose, pretty much play with on Visual Studio Code, or you want to see what other people has as my own setup. So this is actually my top extensions I've been using for a couple of months ago, and I've been enjoying it every single day. I can't actually get rid of any of those. I can't live or code without any one of these extensions. So it is pretty much very awesome to have like a setup for these extensions, and it's just my opinion. So if you have like a different set of extensions that you love, I pretty much and honestly respect that, but this is actually my own opinion and my own preferred extensions to use for that case. So we got just a couple of them in here, and I got like a top 10 list for it. So if you like these extensions, please let me know in the comments below, and please push the like button if you really like the video tutorial, if you want more video tutorials like this. And the most important part is you don't forget to push that subscribe button because it's very important for me. Actually, guys, a lot of people actually watches the videos and are not subscribed, so please just push that red subscribe button down below. I'll be very happy for it, guys. So anyway, so let's just get started with the first extension for that, which is the debugger for Chrome. So debugger for Chrome have been here for like a while, and I've been using it for like ages for now, to be honest, and it's doing actually a really good job. So clearly in here for the debugger for Chrome, it has actually like all the debugging compatibilities that you would like require on like debugging on Visual Studio Code. So you can use breakpoints, you can use exception handling, you try to trace the exceptions, and all this done actually between like a WebSocket bridge between Chrome and the Visual Studio Code. It has all the features you would require, and I've been using it for like I don't know, a year or something, and it's been just doing such a great job. Either you can use it with like React applications, Vue application, Angular applications, and so on and so forth. So it's actually a really good extension to get with ready with. And the setup for this extension is really straightforward. You just go to the debugging section in here, on Visual Studio Code, and you create a new session here, like launch or pretty much launch Chrome against localhost. For example, if you take a look on the settings in here, so this is actually the settings for launching this. You choose your application URL, and of course, once you start this evaluation session and start the debugging, it's gonna just create a new session for you. It launches Chrome for you, new window, and it starts the debugging session right out of the box. So it's really great, and I really love it. So I've been enjoying this for like quite some time for the debugger for Chrome. The next and the second most beloved extension for me, at least, is actually the indent rainbow. So the indent rainbow extension is just like an extension that indents or pretty much gives you like a rainbow coloration for your indents. So if you are working with Python specifically, this is going to be an awesome experience for you, because Python is all around indentations and spaces and tabs. So it's just going to give you this really nice, awesome indentation between of that. And in other case, if you're working for like JavaScript like me, and TypeScript and Go and Rust and so on and so forth, for any language pretty much, they all work with indentations pretty much. So this is going to be very helpful for you, so you can see your indentation. I can pretty much live with this without this extension. If you take a look on a configuration, for example, I can go to the application here, for example, I don't know, like just see like the locals on this is not quite, so it's clearly saying this is what it does the indentation in here, and the more indentation you add, the more colors it just gives you for that. It's really awesome. I do really love it. And yeah, it just makes you really easy to read through your code, either your code or other people's code. It just makes it super simple to read through and understand what is happening behind the scenes of the code. So this is actually a really awesome extension for me. I've been using for like the last year and a half or something. The second, or pretty much the third extension that most of people use, I'm pretty sure about that, but I just have to put credits because I can't live without that, or I can't like spend one day without the prettier code formatter. So it's like the prettier thing, it just code formatter. So from my name, it's very obvious. So it formats code, and it just does it the right way. So it has so many configuration options. You can pretty much customize it the way you would like it to be, but by the default settings you would get exactly what you want. You can even use the CLI, so if you want just like format one single file or anything other than that, once you install it, you can just go ahead and like set it like the main or the default formatter for Visual Studio Code, and you're ready to go. So for that case, what you can do, you can also have like Prettier RC in here, which is a configuration for the Prettier for a specific workspace or for a specific project. And like you can have like tab width of 2, indentation, use tabs and semi, and so on and so forth. So you can have a really customizable options in here, and you can put it the way you would like it to be. And it supports a lot of languages included in here: JavaScript, TypeScript, Flow, GSX for React lovers like me, of course, Angular, Vue, GraphQL, so on and so forth. So this is actually one of the best extensions you would pretty much put your hands on. So the Prettier Code Formatter. So moving on into the fourth extension, which is the settings sync. If you don't know what is settings sync, it's actually a settings syncing extension. So it's pretty much like a backup and a download settings of your settings pretty much extension that you can have pretty much used for. So since Visual Studio Code, for example, you've got like more than one PC and you're working on that. For example, you got an office PC and your home PC, and it's very hard to keep track or synchronization of what extensions you install on your office PC. Then you just go back home and try to remember what extension you installed there. With this extension, it's actually very easy just to do that. All you do is just go ahead and backup this, so you can use the command palette. For example, you can do the command palette, and here you can use sync. So just type in sync, and here you can just give you like updates, upload settings, or either reset extension settings, and how to configure. Just give you like out of the box guide how to configure this. And by the way, it actually uses Gist. So to save your configuration, it uses your GitHub Gist to save your configuration. You can even share it with your friends or with your like a colleague or something like that. So this is actually really great. Take a look on advanced options. There are plenty of them. You can even toggle auto download on startup, so every single time it starts, it tries to download the new synchronized configuration from your Git Gist, of course. So if you just do like frequent synchronization to that, and this is really awesome to back up your extensions, your workspace configuration, your user configuration more specifically, just to put it all in one place, then using all different PCs and different workspaces. This is actually a really awesome extension. I really enjoyed. The second one for that case is actually the SVG Preview. So if you've been working, or since you're actually a front-end developer, most likely you're going to be liking the SVG Preview. I've been enjoying it, clearly in here from the thumbnail or from the GIF. What it does, it actually gives you the preview while you're trying to change or customize your SVG, changing colors, fill colors, transformations, rotation, and so on and so forth. To give you like a live preview. And this is really helpful as like a web developer, and more specifically front-end developer. This is actually going to give you a huge improvement in time, and you're just going to have everything scalable in here. So for example, if we go to the images in here, and I think I've got an SVG. So you clearly see, as soon as I just open up the SVG, I'm going to get it right into the right here, opened for me by default, and I can change the stroke to whatever thing I want in here. So for example, I can do red, and it just does that for exactly what we want. So this is actually one of the best extensions I've been using. So you can quickly scaffold and create and customize your SVGs right out of the box without any issues or something. So yeah, this is the SVG wrapper. It's not a big deal, but yeah, it has like really cool benefit, I think, as a front-end developer and working a lot with SVGs and images and stuff. It's really cool. So this next one we got, I lost count in here, but I think the fifth one or something. Yeah, it's the sixth one, which is the WalkerTime extension. So let me look for the WalkerTime, and this is the WalkerTime extension. So as developers, we sit down a lot in our like offices or in our desks and trying to code all day, smashing our keyboards all day long, and without realizing how much we are actually spending in front of PCs, in front of our monitors. So this extension keeps track of your time while you're coding. So just only when coding, not leaving the Visual Studio Code or the editor open all the time. No, only when you're just smashing your keyboard and trying to get something out of it. this extension is going to count you the time that you spend in here. And this is a really good extension that's clear in here. It gives you like a dashboard, how many you coded this week, different like statistics, like what languages you've been using and so on and so forth, what projects you've stumbled upon, like, you know, you've been using or working on Android application, iOS application, and the time depending on all of these. And it just gives you a really customized and really deep statistics that I really liked. Even gonna give you like what projects you've been working on with like graphs and diagrams showing you what you did for the past couple of months or something like that. This one is really awesome, and the most thing I love about WalkerTime extension is actually going to give you a leaderboard to see how other people, how they are doing, how much they are actually coding. So if you like create this extension, you pretty much install your Visual Studio Code, then you actually configure it with your GitHub or something like that, and of course sign in this and put the API key in order to synchronize the data between the web server and your Visual Studio Code editor. So you're going to have this dashboard in here. So if you access the website, for example, this is actually my dashboard. So for the last 7 days, I've been like 27 hours, 50-minute coding. It gives me like, this is actually the graph for me from May 26th. For example, you got a daily average of 3 hours, 57 minutes. I've been using Visual Code, so most likely all the time you use just Visual Studio Code. This is what I do. I've been coding a lot in TypeScript and CSS and SSCSS and so on and so forth. I'll give you a project list in here, what project I've been working on. I'm working on Slurm lately a lot, and by the way, Slurm is actually a really great platform. It's coming really short soon, so yeah, stay tuned for it. And the most important point I love about this is actually the leaderboard, as I said before. So actually, this is me, Slamabud. I have like the rank of 1302. And I've been coding what languages in here. So if you just take a look on all what other people have been doing, it's actually a lot of people working on that, and you can take a look on the leaderboard and share your status with people. So this is actually a really awesome extension to keep track of your things. Let's move on into the next extension, which is I love a lot. And since we are developers, we always try to do like a to-do list or something. So this extension simplifies things for you as a developer, and it makes it easier for you to remember what you said you will do later on, what you say you do when you're just like, I don't know, like after 10 days or something. So you try to remember your to-dos. In this case, really awesome, and it just gives you like a tree to-do view, so you see what file you've been looking at and what other to do. So it's clear in here. If I just go to my project, I've got like this collapsible, well, kind of like web view in here, and it actually gives you all the to-do. So for example, Slurm app and journal script, I've got a to-do in here, generate template for LinkedIn, and to-do replace with our own helpers. So this is actually really to do. You can even filter it. You can refresh to-dos. I don't know, expand the tree to see more about the to-dos. You can even group by tag. So if you got like a to-dos and you got a tag, for example, deployment or production or something, you will see that most likely in here. And it has actually a couple of different details. And of course, it is very customizable. So if you want to customize the colors, this to-do is going to show you. So for example, take a look in here. So this is what colors it shows you. By default, but if you just go, what is that? Let me just see that again. So if you go to the configuration here, it's clearly seeing it is highlighting. So you can do custom highlighting colors, and you can choose what default custom highlighting colors, different icon colors that you want to just show on the text in here to make it more appealing. So yeah, this is actually for to-dos, and I find this extension really helpful to I don't know, stack your to-dos and make your life a little bit easier as a developer, so you can remember what your to-dos and stuff like that. So the LineSensor in here is like, I can't say less than it's an awesome extension. So I've been struggling a lot about adding license into already created files from me. So as all, like, either you're working on open source on your company or something like that, sometimes you might need to add like a license header to those files. So LineSensor does that job exactly at the perfect way. So pretty much for the LineSensor, what it does, it actually inserts a header with a specific information you provide, like an author, what license you're going to be using, the author name, email, or pretty much some terms and license customly you want to just insert into the header files. And of course you can just do that. So you can just go and install LineSensor, and you can create this command. So you can use this command like create a license file. So you create a license file in the root of your project. You can even insert a header for a specific file. You can do a lot of things in here. For the programming languages, actually support a variety of programming languages like C, C++, JavaScript, and so on and so forth. Yeah, many of them in here are actually supported. And for the configuration in here, actually supports a lot. And most likely for the licenses, there's a lot of them. There's AL2, GBL, there's zlib, CC01. There's even MIT license in here, and so on and so forth. And of course you can set the author and stuff like that. So if you can go to the settings for this extension, so for example go like open user settings, and we search for LineSensor. So you find LineSensor, so you can put your author name in here, for example going to be Islam or something, and it's just going to be having all of that. So to show you exactly what this one does, so for example let's try to open up, let me just collapse all of these, and let's try to go to the clean script in here. And for this one, I'm just gonna do like LineSensor insert license header. So as long as I do that, of course this header is gonna be inserted depending on the information you've inserted. So pretty much this Islam Apache 2.0 license you've inserted, and some kind of like conditions in here depending on that license you've inserted. It's really awesome, and I do really love it. So this could be a really awesome extension for you just to create licenses, files, and insert license headers in your files with ease. Well, the one before the last, which is the browser preview. So the browser preview here is an extension, so you can find right in the toolbar in here. So if you just go click that, it's just going to open up a browser for you. So this browser preview is just going to give you a browser inside of your Visual Studio Code, and this is really convenient for you if you just want to do like a portfolio page or just do like some CSS design. So when you just hot reload and see your changes on the browser preview, this extension is exactly for you guys. So this one is browser preview. If you just take a look, for example, what is the browser preview? Okay, so this is actually the browser preview. I'm gonna give you a little browser in here just to see exactly what is happening if you're working with React or Vue or something, and it just like control save and exactly and see what is happening in here and hot reload. So this is exactly what it is. So you're just not going to be creating or a new Chrome browser, stuff like that. And by the way, this is actually based on Chromium, so that's super cool for us as developers. And the last extension on the top 10 list of Visual Studio Code extensions is pretty much the code spell checker. So the code spell checker in here helps you spell or correctly spell your code keywords pretty much, or variables. So in this case in here, there's actually, if you just misspell 25, it's just gonna tell you that you've misspelled that, and once you fix it, booyah. So that's really good, because most of us write in English and try to like write readable code, and this can help a lot writing readable code, because if you just like, for example, mistaked or mistyped some example like language server here, and it just like, it can cause a lot of bugs pretty much. If you have like JavaScript and non-scoped variables and so on and so forth, this could be really harsh to fix and to understand what is going on behind the scenes of the code. So this one can be very helpful. I've been using it actually for quite some time, and it's been doing a really good job for spelling or correcting me on the misspells, and I just put it all over the code. And of course, this code speller in here, this is actually in English, but there's actually a full pack of other custom languages, whether Chinese, Japanese, or either like, I don't know, French or something like that. So all of those are actually supported, so you can easily code spell on that specific language. Screws in here, add in dictionaries. There's plenty of them like Swedish, Spanish, so on and so forth. So yeah, this extension can do the job perfectly as it's set to be. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you liked this video tutorial. I didn't want to make like a top 10 as other people do, just like show you the extension but not go through the extension and try to explain it. I tried to just go quickly throughout the extension and try to explain what the extension does and how to use it. Just very quick, just not to make the video super long. And thank you guys for watching this again. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, because I really need that, guys. Yeah, this is gonna support me a lot. And push the like button if you really loved and enjoyed the video tutorial. Without further ado, guys, I'll see you all hopefully in the next video tutorial. So adios.